Welcome to my channel, Engineer Fucks Things Up. I am the engineer, and today we are doing a bit of maintenance on my 2011 F650GS. We're going to do an oil change on it, but before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about oil change intervals, especially on newer bikes, and why I think that manufacturers are actually screwing us riders. Okay, let's talk a little bit about oil change intervals, because there's been trend, especially in later years, that oil change intervals are becoming increasingly longer and longer. And for my bike, the recommended interval is 10,000 kilometers. In my opinion, that is way too long. I believe if you don't change your oil more regular, for me, I change it on 5,000. Because it is only 2.9 liters of oil in it, and you will wear out that oil long before you reach this 10,000 kilometers interval. But motorcycle manufacturers and car manufacturers are trying to advertise that with long intervals at low service costs. But the truth of things is that oil service is actually very cheap if you compare it to having your engine break down, you know, camshafts worn out, stuff like that. So I always change my oil on 5,000 kilometers, and I also recommend you guys do that. It is a cheap insurance to make sure your engine is healthy, so just go ahead and do that. Okay, enough about that. We are going to get into it, and I'm going to start up the bike and idle it for a few moments. And when the engine warms up, I'm going to change the oil. Okay, this is what I use for the filter change. I have a bucket for the oil. I have some gloves. And I have the K&N filter, and I really like this because it has this head, so I don't know if you can see it. We can just put the tool on it, a wrench or something, and you can just screw it out. The original filter doesn't have that. But for oil service, this bike is actually quite serviceable, so there's not a problem using an oil filter plier, but you know, just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, as you can see, the oil filter is very accessible, and the same is the oil plug, so it is very serviceable in that area. But I'm going to show you some other service work later on that, yeah, it really is not that easy doing. But we'll get back to that in another video. Okay, let's go, get on with it. Okay, there's a magnet here, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's not much. There's a little bit of particles here, but nothing that's concerning, just regular wear and tear. I'm going to just let that drain out, and I'm going to go and find a new washer for this. You can reuse the old one, but I have a new one, so we're going to put it on and put that on when we put it back. Okay, now that has drained completely out, and now we're going to put the plug back with a new copper washer, and we're going to torque it to spec. Okay, that's taken care of, and now we are going to move on to the filter. Let's see if I can get this on. I have to use some force in it, so I think it's been over tightened. The last service was actually done by a shop. I haven't had this bike so long, so this is actually my first oil service on it. I used to have a Kawasaki ER6 before this one, and well, I would say I actually quite like the change. Okay. It's a bit difficult to get off, but yeah, it's coming. Okay, now I'm just going to let this drain completely out. You might notice that the bike is quite dirty, and I actually like cleaning my bike before doing service or maintenance work. But I came home pretty late last night. I think it was around midnight, and I didn't just have the energy for it. I actually fell over with the bike earlier on in the evening, and I hurt my ankle, so I wasn't really up for cleaning the bike. And today it's pouring rain outside, so yeah. Okay, that seems to be draining. Okay, just going to clean it out. Yeah, I'm going to get the filter and we're going to put it on. And I'm also going to torque the filter, because in general people over tighten oil filters and also fuel filters. You know, they want to be sure that it doesn't come loose, but if you torque to spec, it will stay on, no problem, and it will come off easy when it's time to do service. Okay, I have the oil filter, and we're just gonna put some oil on the seal ring. We're going to get it in place. Now, first I'm just going to hand tighten it, and then I'm going to take the torque wrench and I'm going to torque it. See, that's it. Okay, now we're going to fill it up with some new oil, and I believe it is 2.9 liters that goes into it. But we'll put 2.5 and we'll put the dipstick in and we'll have a check. Having some bit, yeah, I think this tunnel would work if I pour slowly. I am running with the 10W40, that's recommended in the manual. Okay, let's go. Usually there are markings on the can, you know, for 500 milliliters, 1000, etc. There's no mark on this one, but I have a pretty good idea how much I should put in before I check the level. Okay, and let's check the oil level. It's still not showing on the dipstick, so we're gonna keep pouring until we can see. Okay, it is about the halfway mark now. I'm going to put it to the max level now. I don't really remember if I'm supposed to screw the dipstick in or just dip it down and check. I have to check the manual. I don't remember right now. Okay. It is now, I don't know if you can see it, but it's just below the maximum mark. I will check the manual to see if it's supposed to be screwed down or just leave it like this to check the level. I think you're supposed to screw it down, but I don't remember. So I will go check that and I'll come back to you. Okay, I just checked the manual and you're actually supposed to just leave it like this. But before checking the oil level, the manual says that you're supposed to let the engine run and warm up, and actually it says in the manual to have the radiator fan kick in, but that can take a quite long time, so I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to make sure that we have enough oil, and I'm going to start up the bike and let it idle for a while, and then I will check the level again. Okay, so we have enough oil to start the bike without me being worried that anything will happen. So I'm going to start at the bike and let it idle for a while, and we're going to check the oil level again. Okay, we had the bike idling for some time now, and I'm just gonna wait a little bit, and then I'm going to check the oil level. I actually see a drop beneath the plug here. I don't know if it's oil from when I was draining it or something, but I'll wipe it off and we'll check on that in a few moments if it's coming from the copper washer or it's just oiled. Okay. Now let's have a look. Wipe that off. Yeah. I actually need to fill some more oil because it was just below minimum. So we keep adding some oil. Okay. Well, I think that should be enough because I believe there's just it's over over a liter left. So it should, this is 4 liters and it should be 2.9, so I'm going to put some more in it. Okay. Okay, that's spot on. I'm not going to idle the bike again because it's just been running. And the manual said, you know, to run it until warm and then check the oil level after a few moments. So since I added the oil just after it was running, I'm not going to bother with starting it again. Okay, that was an oil service on my BMW F650GS. This is actually my first video, so sorry if things is not perfect, but hopefully I will get better at it. Also, I was supposed to use a Bluetooth microphone, but I couldn't get it working before I started filming, so if the sound quality is a little bit bad, I'm sorry about that. I'm thinking for my next video, I'm going to show you how to replace the air filter and spark plugs. I don't know if I'm going to do 2 separate videos or just make it into one. Maybe you can just let me know in the comments what you want me to do. And if you like what you see, just like and subscribe to my channel, and see you next time.